Now, staying with the construction theme, I want us to shift focus on affordable housing, which is one of President Uhuru Kenyatta's big four agenda that also include manufacturing, universal healthcare, and food security. Now, the government is looking at raising funds and working with institutional investors and the private sector in actualizing the affordable housing project. One of the places the government can look for funds is said to be the cooperative society, with figures indicating that SACCOs in the country hold approximately 500 billion shillings. Now, one such SACCO with some muscle is a UN staffer SACCO called Habitat Housing Cooperative Society, which on its own is putting up a housing project worth 2.1 billion shillings. Now, to talk to us about the project is Vijay. That second name is hard for me to pronounce. Gageda. He is a constructor with Mira Construction Limited, and I'm also joined by David Ndegwa. He is working very closely with cooperatives. Now, let's just begin maybe from the cooperative point of view. We are looking at the figures in my intro there, and we're saying that cooperatives in this country are formidable in terms of the amount of money that they are able to control and hold. Can the government be able to tap this amount of money in things like affordable housing?
Thank you, Tony. You know, that is one of the conversations we've been having around. You know, because the government alone cannot be able to develop affordable housing in this country. You know, just to give you a perspective, Uhuru signed into law the 21 billion shillings, which is about a week ago, I think about a month ago. So 21 billion shillings, what can that do? This is nationally. One cooperative is working on a 32 billion shilling project, one cooperative. So can you imagine if the government was able to augment the money they have with the money that the cooperatives have? You know, we take this for granted, but the cooperatives in this country have $10 billion worth of savings that has been aggregated over the last 20-something odd years. So if that money could be utilized for affordable housing, it will change the way the country operates. Well, the government alone cannot be able to do that, given that they will also have to pay teachers, they'll also have to pay the army. Just how much money does the government have? It cannot be relied solely alone to be able to provide affordable housing for the country.
All right. We'll come back to cooperatives and how they're able to save money. But let's talk about UN Habitat. They've contacted you to put together a 2.1 billion housing project. From where you sit, how big, what's the magnitude of this project, 2.1 billion shillings?
Thank you, Bana Tony. Let me start by wishing our esteemed viewers a very happy and a prosperous Diwali and the New Year.
Yes, indeed. My apologies. Yes, it is Diwali.
We wish all my Kenyan brothers and sisters happy Diwali and a prosperous New Year. For us as a group, Krishna Group, we were approached by this Habitat Housing SACCO. And this project has come last 1.5 years into a reality, and it's a dream come true for our group because it's one of the largest projects ever done by our group, and we are putting up 224 housing units there at Tindingwa, Kiambu, which is just along the Kiambu Road, 5 minutes from the UN SACCO.
All right, all right. Who's the target for this housing project?
We are mainly targeting the UN workers, the embassy workers, because we are very close to the target market, which is just 5 kilometers across the road. And you know, currently UN staffers get houses on Gong Road, either in the Thika Road or those very far areas. So we thought that this would be very ideal for them, that we come up with a project with high-class finishes and to their standard.
All right. The UN Habitat, do you have an indication of how much they will be selling the houses at?
We have pegged the market price at 11 million for a 3-bedroom house with a DSQ. with a plinth area of 144 meters square, and 2-bedroom houses at 95 meters square.
All right. Is that affordable in the local market? Anyone can answer that now.
Well, one wouldn't necessarily call that affordable because, you know, you're looking at the middle tier market, because affordable has a description. You know, either you're looking at houses that are below 6 million shillings, or you're looking at houses that are below 10 million shillings. But then the houses that are just around 8 to 10 million shillings are mainly for the middle class. So if you look at the UN SACCO, UN Habitat, you know, the membership of this particular SACCO are mostly middle class. They are not the lower cadres of society as you would find commonly in other cooperatives.
All right. What's the secret to this cooperative society being able to put up a housing unit, a housing project for 2.1 billion? That means they have a lot of money in their savings.
Well, like I said, cooperatives are not necessarily poor. You know, people look at cooperatives as poor institutions, but they're not poor. Like I said, they have saved more money. You know, I don't want to say it like they have saved more money than the government, but they have more money than any other industry that you can think about. $10 billion worth of savings in the commercial banks is not little money by any standard. So they're not necessarily poor. They have saved money over time. Well, you'd call this patient capital because it's social capital, but it can't be able to do so much than what people would imagine.
All right. Vijay, my producer is kicking me out of the studio. When does the project begin and when is the completion date? Very fast.
The project, we are ready for launch on Friday. That is day after tomorrow, and some dignitaries are coming there, and we would K24 would be there. We invite you to. Yes.
Certainly, we will be there.
Yes.
All right.
And it will be finished in 2 years' time from now. That is 2020. Yes.
All right. And can I buy if I'm not part of the SACCO?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
We have a 30% agreement with SACCO that 30% of the units can be sold outside if the SACCO would not have sold it within next 6 months.
All right.
Because SACCO, as we speak today, they've already sold up to 70% of the units.
All right.
So offtake is very good for us, and the response to the buyers is overwhelming, and we hope that it will continue, and we should start. We are looking at starting the phase 2 very soon.
All right. Very well, Vijay, thank you very much for coming and talking to us. We will have this conversation even more on Friday when we come to the launch of the event. Ndegwa, I think we need to have a discussion more so on the power of cooperatives and why people should join cooperatives, in your opinion. But that's a discussion we will have some other day.
Agreed.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming to studio and talking to us. We were talking to Vijay Gagada, that name, second name is a tongue twister for me, and David Ndegwa on affordable housing and how the private sector can help the government in achieving affordable housing.